Hey, today we're going to talk about the Sisterhood, episode 4. It starts off with Pastor Tara and Pastor Brian. They're in the kitchen. They're getting stuff ready for the other couples to come over because they're going to have a screening for the First Lady's round table that they had did on the last episode. So all those people, they get there, and she said she wants to get them there for the taping. And she had got them some pizza. That's, so they can have something to eat and watch the screening. And Pastor Dominique just, started going in on her not being appreciative of her, of them, and ordering pizza. And I'm like, come on, we need some real food. And I'm saying, for real, be grateful. Be very, very grateful that you got that. She could have just not gave you guys anything. Y'all could just watch the stuff, and that would have been it. Come on, that was kind of being very, very ungrateful. Even though I like Pastor Dominique, that was just being very ungrateful. So anyway, they all sit down, they start watching, and then I think their discussion was about marriage or whatever, and everybody was giving their little opinions and advice, and Pastor Tara was going in about her marriage and how she didn't always feel loved in her marriage. She didn't always feel like she was appreciated, like a woman of God and a wife should be appreciated. So all the other women were looking at her kind of funny, but I was looking at her I'm glad she was honest about it. Marriage is not always golden or whatever, and you go through trials and tribulations of marriage. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't understand why they're giving her flack for that. Maybe she should have told her husband what she was talking about before they all watched it together, but hey. Then Christina, she gave her advice on, faith and all that stuff. Then after they watched it, the husband was critiquing it, giving them all the advice and saying how they all meshed well. But Pastor Brian had a little smart remark. Tara's husband, he had a smart remark about the women lighting or some stuff, and everybody was looking at him kind of funny, and someone made a comment about both of them wanting the spotlight. And you kind of can see that, but she did really want to work with her husband. It was him that didn't want to work with her. She wanted to work with her husband. So that was basically it about them. It was just, I liked it how at the end of the round table, Dominique had plugged her email, wait, hold on. Let's plug our emails, we need to be professional about this. I just think that it was so rushed put together that they didn't have time to think of the setup and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, after that, the next scene was with Tara, before I get to that, Tara, she was talking about how she preached 1 month, and Pastor Dominique was looking at her 1 month. Them little side comments that Pastor Dominique be giving Tara, I'd be okay, enough is enough. You're supposed to be a pastor's wife, first of all. You're supposed to be a woman of God. Come on, your comments about Tara be out of line. But yeah, I just like how all the husbands were giving really good advice. They were talking about how supportive they should be with the women, and how Dominique's husband was talking about how boys get lost in the church when they marry to the pastor or whatever. So that's cool. Anyway, so the next thing was Ivy. She was cleaning the house. It was Ivy Marksting, and she was cleaning the house because her mother was coming in town to help her with her surgery. So she was I got to help and get the house clean because my mom be tripping about the house. So I wasn't expecting her mother to act the way she said she was going to act. She comes in the house and immediately started going in about Ivy's clothes, talking about she looks casual. You're in the house. What was she supposed to be dressed glamorous when you in the house cleaning? I don't get that. Then she was oh, the house was dirty. The kitchen wasn't dirty, but I know I'm a God figure. She talked about the little boys, the baby's room was dirty. It was just toys. I was just so over that mother. I personally would tell my mom, what's my daughter? You being very disrespectful coming in my house. you know what front door is like. Me personally, I can't take someone coming in my house being very, very disrespectful. I don't care what part of the family you are in. You're in my home. You cannot come in here being very disrespectful. If you don't like what's going on in my house, stay outside. That's all I can say about that. What else I could say? But that was it. Anyway, Brian, it goes back to Brian and Tara. They working out and before that they work out. They go on a date and they walking up to the restaurant and he's talking about how he wanna spread her over a cracker and I'm like, really? I understand y'all are still human and all that, but you know the cameras is on. It's just some stuff that be, like I said, should be off limits for the camera and what you say and how you portray yourself. Like, I understand it's editing, but it's just still the way he portrays himself that just be very questionable. But anyway, they go to dinner and they tell each other how each other felt about the way he acted when he didn't show up and he didn't be there for her or whatever. And he gave her this punk ass, sorry for cursing, but this cry that I was like, where's the tears? And he was like, oh, well, you want to do the round paper with me? And she's like, yeah. But I was like, that was so fake and phony. I was so over him. Anyway, then they go work out. Cara, she's having a mom fit program, and she wants the women to be a part of that, so they just working out, and she's telling him what she wants, and he was like, do you think the women can handle it? And she was like, yeah, I think they can handle, like, the basics. So anyway, after that, Pastor Dominique and her husband, I think they're moving out of the house that they were living in to get into a better house. And they have their little nice time talking to the kids and explaining why they were going to move. So I thought that was really cute. That was the whole reason why she pawned her ring for $3,000 for her moving expenses. So she kind of explained that why she pawned the ring. Anyway, then the ladies, they show up for the Tara's Mom Fitness program, exercise thing, and immediately Dominique was over it. Dominique didn't want to work out, but I'm like, you knew what you was coming to. Like, why are you out of this? I don't sweat, you knew what you were coming to. Like, don't get there and start complaining when you came. Like, nobody forced you to go. You went there on your own. Like, I was so over that part. But the whole, like, exercising thing, Tara was hard. She was hard on them women. I like that thought. I want someone to be in my face and make me push to keep on going. And the women was like, they were doing it while they were complaining. They were doing it. I can't give them that. But it was funny when Tara picked up Dominique or whatever and she picked up off the ground and Dominique called her a she-man. I was like, oh, like, Dominique, like, she just, to me, is the pastor's wife. She not there yet to be called a woman of God because her comments, her actions, they're not coming out to me as a woman of God yet. Not at all. I like her because she's honest about her life, and I think her story can help another person, but I just don't think she's there yet. She needs to face a lot of demons before she says she's a woman of God and she's a pastor and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, after that, Ivy and Mark and Mama Shirley, it was surgery day, and they get ready to go to have the surgery, or whatever. They drop the baby off at child care or whatever, and they go to the surgery, and I like because Christina showed up for her, and they talked, and then after they talked, the pastor, Mark, came in, and he talked to his wife, and he prayed with her, and that was a really cool thing. I really like that about them. And I liked because after the surgery took like 2.5, 3 hours, and then the doctor came out and said she was okay, she can have kids, so he went to her, and they cried, and that was cute. Then comes to Pastor Delaney's house. Pastor Delaney has a lunch for all the ladies to come over. And when they get there, they immediately see that on the front door that it says, welcome to the Rutherford, I think that's the last name, Rutherford Plantation, existing 2012. So all the ladies felt some kind of way about this sign. Christina says kind of normal, kind of singing and stuff, but she did feel some kind of way about the sign. So Dominique just like, I don't like it. It was just crazy. So then they all eating. Christina asked her, Tara, how does it feel to be in the South, and how does it feel to be in a relationship in the South? And so they talked about that. Then Christina brings up to Pastor Delana about her sign at the door, and she was like, I've never, got questions about the sign, and so they going back and forth about this sign. So then Dominique was like, well, I feel like it's offensive. And she was like, it's not meaning to be offensive, this is a plantation, like, where it was a land of crops, people, this is what we used it for. She was like, Jesus had laborers, and Dominique just took it and twisted it and was like, she said Jesus had slaves, that's not what she said. So, but even with that argument, I understood both sides of the thing, because being a black woman, you see plantations, your minds do go to slavery, and that's what they used it for back in the day of the plantations. They used those houses to for slavery, to have the people work on their crops and stuff. So I understand Dominique's issue. I understand Pastor Delana's issue, because she don't seem racist. She do seem like she hang with a lot of people of different backgrounds, so I don't get that sometimes. But I do, it's her house. If you don't like it, don't come. It was just really, really crazy. And I just feel like Pastor Delana needs to separate herself from this group of women, because they don't. She, to me, seemed like a woman of God, and she seems like she's on the right path. She's not with that mess, and that's what they bring to her house. And I feel like if you don't want to be a part of that mess, you don't have to be a part of that mess. You shut that mess down when, especially in your house. And Dominique wasn't kind of respecting that this was her house, even though that's the way you feel. You wasn't respecting that's still this woman's house. So she kind of made Pastor Delana feel some kind of way, and Pastor Delana got up and excused herself from the table, even though she shouldn't have to, because like I said, that's her house. So Pastor Dominique was like, well, I'm going to probably have Pastor Dominique. Dominique was like, well, that's my cue to leave. Your cue to leave was when you felt some kind of way when you walked up to that sign, and so that kind of way before you sat down on the table. That was when you should have left. The first time you saw it on her sign, you said you didn't like it. You should have talked about that then, and then you should have came, or you should have said, well, I didn't like it the first time. I'm not going back to the house. I felt some kind of way about that sign. But so I was just like on the fence with Dominique after that. Then when they get to the lunch, she calls the women to meet her after all of that, except Pastor Delana, which I thought that was foul. Don't call somebody else and to talk about somebody else. Like, come on, that's childish. It's whack. So they go in. She was telling them how she felt about the sign or whatever, and Christina was like, well, I did feel some kind of way, and they started talking like, and I liked it because Tara shut that down. Tara was like, wait a minute, she's not here. I think I need to speak up to her, and I liked that about Tara. Usually Tara comes off real crazy, but this episode, I was cool with Tara, because Tara, she spoke up for what was right. She helped the ladies exercise. She wasn't really on some way out weird stuff this episode. So, I just didn't understand how Dominique is trying to get these women to turn on Pastor Delana by spewing her opinions and thoughts on to them about somebody that wasn't even there at that luncheon. So, hopefully it just get better next episode. This was my review of the SisterHood episode 4. I'm getting a little bit better, so hopefully my videos will come a little bit faster. Make sure you rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at thaghettoview, THA, not THE, Instagram, me, Miss Nika, MIGGNKA69, and Facebook me at thaghettoview. Talk to me and I'll talk back.